Hey, how we doing? It's Don, the Auction Professor here. Back to the show again. I got a bunch of stuff going on today, and I do mean a bunch. Lots of notifications and things going on. Oh, I see Carl is already probably gone. If you're still here, Carl, I do honestly appreciate it. Thanks, Carl. Wished I could have said it personally, but it looks like he's already ran off for the night. So anyway, back to some of the issues here since he's not here. We'll call out some names in a minute here. I just want to get this off, and I'll probably re-announce this later on in the show. Wednesday, 9:30 a.m., that's April 3rd of next week, I will have a live feed, and I'm going to have Benny from Tenacious Toys on finally. I'm going to do a little brief intro to his site. My actual toys are live on there. We're going to be doing some other stuff together with him. And I'm going to share with you the adventure getting into toy creation from this point too. Benny's a real good guy. Thrift shop hustler as well, knows the guy. He's worked with him. Benny's been on some other channels. He's worked with Norm from Tested. If you know who Adam Savage is from Mythbusters, this is all tied into them. So, I mean, these are all real good guys. It's going to be the first person on the show. This is more of a personal contact, hopefully a long-term relationship with Benny and his company. And there's opportunities out there, I guess is the point. And we're going to talk about many questions. He does the New York Toy Fair, which I've had a lot of questions about in the past, even some on the live shows. So those in Patreon, I've got some post up there now. If you haven't seen the new video for those in Patreon, video 30 is up. And you're open to offer some questions for that interview too. Also on April 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, these are both Eastern Standard Time, Ohio, I will be on Primetime Treasure Hunters YouTube channel as well. I'll do some push-outs for that before the show. I'll hit everybody up, so just in case anybody's not marking that down in the calendar, it will be up there for you too. That's just both on Wednesday, so we'll have a second live show on Wednesday morning at 9:30 next week, and then at 9 in the evening, I will be on Primetime Treasure Hunters site. And then, as usual, I will have the Thursday live show, just like I always do. So there won't be any changes on that aspect of it. Again, for those in Patreon, which I see a few folks here in Patreon already. Again, video 30 is up. I tried to get it up a little earlier, but we did have employees coming and going today. And I still have a ton of stuff in here from a storage locker that I bought out from a picker that's actually passed away. And then I've got another person that's moved, and I bought out 2 storage. We're not actually sourcing at all right now. I literally cut the reins on sourcing right now unless something really good walks in my way or a picker goes. I'm not going out anywhere. We have gotten some huge assortments. You're going to see some videos coming out here soon on some of the stuff we got, and it's just a wide range of stuff. I got some comics, and I mean some comic books. I've got a ton of records coming in. I got, in the last, say, 2 weeks, I got almost 6,045s. There's roughly 1,078s. It's been a real busy time here. And a lot of this came from, as I said, the first batch I got from a month or two ago was from a picker that passed. He was somebody I dealt with for almost 2 years. Sad. I did help out the widow and did buy a bunch. I did do, honest, fair pricing and all. I'm not one to rip somebody off. But anyway, so I'll probably have some videos on that too. We'll do some unboxing. I wish you could see how much I got here, but there's just a ton of it, so literally we're not going out anywhere. My last runs were this week when I picked up the last of the gentleman I know. He actually is moving to Florida in another 10 days, so anyway, I had to clear out all of it. I spent 14 hours working the other day on the road, back and forth and all, so we had to move stuff around at our warehouse, my record warehouse area, so that was a big fiasco there, so that took a lot of time. So the other day I'm behind, so you probably didn't see any videos on Monday. If you haven't checked out the video on eBay Plus and eBay FBA, basically, I've got a link down there right below inside the feedback section down here, the comment section, not in the description, in the comment section. So I would honestly recommend looking at. That's what's coming here to the U.S. There's a pilot program right now for an FBA for eBay. FBE, I guess you could call it. Fulfillment for eBay is basically what it's called. If you didn't know either, UPS has some sort of big deal with eBay as well too. And they have it with some other sites too. UPS will fulfill your eBay orders through their warehousing. And this is in certain select cities. That video has links to all of this, including the link to the eBay page that's live right this minute here on the US site that will get you into, or at least set you up with an interview to get you possibly into the FBA for eBay. They've already went through one stage where they randomly, I don't know how they sorted, but they picked people. I know somebody who was picked, so it's a legit thing. Months ago, they picked people in this country. Wasn't announced on the site. And then from there, they literally have now upped it. They literally, as I said, have a page on US eBay site that literally will allow you to apply for this program. eBay Plus isn't here. It was tested well, it's been tested in several places. I've been looking into this a lot since I found some of these articles. It's been fully tested and been fully running in Australia. It's also been running in Europe as well too. The DE, the German site, has been using eBay Plus. They've been using the FBA basically for eBay fulfillment. Australia, again, is a test zone for eBay because it's its own continent. All the supplies and products in Australia pretty much stay in Australia just because of, logistics and shipping costs. So it's a perfect prime area for them to study. For those who don't know, in fact, let's see if anybody's here from Australia. I don't see anybody yet. I've got a lot of people from Australia that are in our group. I mean, about a dozen or so that do share some of this information with me. So it's rather interesting to know. A lot of people in the past have said, hey, eBay's never going to be able to do Prime. They're never going to be able to challenge Amazon. Well, that's just not true at this point. I think they might have found a niche and a way in without any major infrastructure expenses. So if Amazon starts their own services, and this is all going on. You can look all this up. So these are all sites, ecommercenews.com, ecommercebytes.com. These are all good sites to check out. So if Amazon does go full route, which they are testing right now in several markets, delivering their own local products, if eBay gets this going through a third party, whether it's UPS, Airborne, or all three of them, which could be a possibility, then they could undercut Amazon because they won't have any of that overhead. It'll all be wrote to, the third-party sites. Plus, they'll probably get better shipping rates. They would have to offer one-day shipping as well as first class, I would imagine. So, I just can't see them not offering first class if they're going to store the items. You can actually print your receipts, all the options to ship out from UPS. I've checked it all out. I've seen it in works, actually. So, there's a lot going on. I would honestly recommend, again, and I'm not trying to just call it my video, but I would really recommend you look at that. Check out the pages I talk about on there. Check out the links that I show on that video, as well as check out Australia eBay and see what's coming our way. Because literally, when they started getting rid of drop shipping and such forth here in this country, it already hit 5 or 6 months before that in Australia. Whatever Australia seems to be doing, it's going to roll over here in 4 or 5 months from there. It's pretty much a given. Australia even has a royalty point system too, where you can get royalty points, which is kind of unique. It's something like a truck stop card, like Flying J does, or Pilot, or any of these do, where you slide your card, or apparently, or you spend so much, you get so many points. They do that on eBay over there. So they also offer, unlimited listings in England right now for like $6.50 a month. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things that are working their way through the other eBay structures. I would say that US eBay is one of the biggest sites they have, so they tested on the smaller ones like Australia, and then they've been working it through Europe for what I've seen. I've spent hours reading into some of this, again, because it could affect my business. So, this is something everybody should be doing when they're looking into this kind of stuff. So, I investigated all. I took a ton of notes here. So I want to know what's going on. A lot of people and a lot of complaints, hey, how could eBay do that? Would you trust a third party with it? As long as there's key things in place, like if it gets lost, Amazon's pretty good about that. I mean, obviously you can lose stuff and Amazon may not reimburse you or anything like that. It's going to be the same structure. It's storage fees. I already saw some of the prices. The basic one that I saw was in the $5.70 for an item. That's basically your storage fees and your all your final value fees on like a certain dollar amount of items. Even if it's like $1,000 a month for something like that, and say you have 25,000 items up or 50,000, like what we're working in the area of, it might be worth $1,000 out of my pocket to let somebody else deal with many aspects of the business to ship it out, because then I can just list as much as I want and not have to worry about any of the other stuff. That's why everybody does FBA. So, I mean, if eBay's got this going right, they could, be right up there with Amazon in a real quick difference of time. I mean, they could just hop up there with what's going on. I know it's going to be some hurdles. I've heard a lot of people talk, and I've got a ton of emails on this as well as comments. eBay's already been doing it. It's not like they don't know what they're doing. They've done it for months. It might even be a year, because I can't get the inside information on when they actually started the process in Australia and Europe. I've got dates going back before October right now showing that they were already doing limited release of these programs. They may have been doing some of these for 9 months to a year, so it's not like they don't know what they're doing. They've got a good example of Amazon for this, just like the eBay Plus. It's the same thing. There's millions of items on eBay Plus in Australia. So you literally can click a button just like on Amazon and look and see which one's Prime. You can see on eBay which one is Plus. It's free shipping and free returns on anything on eBay Plus. I've been telling people this, everybody says, no, they can't do it. I've been saying for a long time that eBay is not out. They're up there number 2. Obviously, their viewership's way down compared to Amazon, but well, I shouldn't say eBay's down. eBay's views, like the $250 million they get a month, is actually going up and up steadily. Small increments, but it's going up. Amazon's like 1 billion views a month. But Amazon has a huge market. They do a ton of stuff that eBay doesn't do. The videos, the Prime, the live streaming, or not live streaming, but streaming in general. We've got Prime, and we've had Prime forever. I watch a ton of movies on there. If we watch something, the kids pop it up. If we want to have movie night, we've got a big 10-foot screen in the back. So I use Amazon a lot. I buy a lot of merchandise that I use for my business, my cameras, the laptops, all kinds of stuff off Amazon. So, I would probably use an eBay Prime. I would probably stock up on my other store with wholesale items on eBay Prime and stuff. I mean, it would be a perfect example to alleviate it. I could have pallets shipped to eBay and then just be done with it. I would never have to worry about it from that point on. Can I trust eBay? Yeah, they're going to remove the feedback, I'm sure, if something happens and they're dealing with it. Everything I've read, I read everything you could read on eBay's Australia site as well as the German site. Spend some time and go over there and look at it. Again, I got the video down there in the comment section. It's a link to the video where I go into all the details on this. Well, not all of the details, but I'll probably have an update here soon too. As I said, I know somebody who's doing the program, who's basically in it right now. So, I'll hopefully have some information on what's going on in there. I've also talked about Sellbrite. We're live on there. I don't have my items quite set up yet. I've been working on setting all the templates and all the kind of stuff that you have to do. They actually have live webinars you can sign up for once you get in there too, and then it's live and you can literally ask questions while it's going on and get immediate answers for it. So if you're interested in it, I'll be happy to fill everybody in. I'm gonna share a lot of this information on Sellbrite. And if you don't know what Sellbrite is, I know there's other ones out there, but Sellbrite-wise it was attractive because it's not based on how many listings I have up or SKUs or how many sites that I have up. It's based on the exact amount of sales. And I can judge my sales very, very easily, but I constantly list. So, and if you have listings on multiple sites and all this, there's no extra fee for all of that. So you're just paying for what sells in Sellbrite. And I looked through probably a dozen sites that will cross-list your items for you. Our goal now is to list everything we have on multiple sites. In the past, we've been very selective on what we list due to time constraints and having to pull down items from one site to the other. With Sellbrite and a lot of the other services, if an item sells and you've listed it through Sellbrite, it'll literally pull everything down. It will sync your inventory on all sites. So if I'm selling the same, let's say, record on 4 sites that are in their group, and they do 15 or so. They even do Amazon, they do Etsy, they do Shopify, they do eBay, they do Walmart, which I was approved on Walmart, so I'm looking forward to that. It would be a plus for me anyway. So I can print all of this on one single slip. It'll alleviate me going to 2 different eBay stores to have to print separate orders for my bulk mailings. I can just print them all from one. I can log in and have 2 separate sites from eBay all done at the same time with Sellbrite. So That's what I'm looking for. This will hopefully alleviate some time for us, and it'll allow me to get way more stuff up than I've gotten up before. Plus, with all luck, I will have some increases from the sales, because I'll have immediately, you know, hopefully by this weekend, we'll have 25,000 items that were not listed on other sites listed on other sites. Drawback, there's expenses, obviously. I'm going to be paying listing fees, and I'll be paying Etsy fees, and I'll be paying some other fees on like Shopify and things like that, some of the other aspects of it. So there's going to be some investment. There's going to be some investment in the actual Sellbrite. They've got a 14-day free trial, which is I'm on right now. My goal is to expand my business. Before the end of summer, I want to have everything everywhere that I could possibly cross-list. This fourth is going to be my best fourth ever. I know it already because last year's fourth quarter was my best ever. And this time I'm going to have, you know, 25,000 more listings on 3 more sites. For those who do Amazon, I can upload all these to Amazon. There's no extra charge for as many SKUs as I want on Amazon. I'm paying the $39.99 a monthly fee. It sells, I pay the fee. That's how Amazon works, for those of you who don't know. I've said this too before, you've got to broaden your reach, and the only way you can broaden your reach for someone like me with what the quantity of items we have up right now is to list those items on other sites. And again, as I said, I didn't list too many cross-listing items from certain categories because of the having to pull it down. Most of my paper is only on eBay, on 2 different stores. Now, for like my Amazon stuff, I do cross-list records on eBay, Amazon, and Discogs. And then I cross-list postcards from eBay as well as hit postcards. And then I do, I think it's DeMarco's stamps. I'll do cross-listing stamps from eBay to that site. It's easy to control that aspect of it. So with a program, or an app, I should say, with Sellbrite, I won't have to worry about all the little menial daily work. It'll take down everything for me. There'll be no more spending 20, 30 minutes a day, you know, swapping down listings anymore. That can all go to actually getting, you know, those employees to do listings. Our listing totals are going up because of some of the activities we're doing too. So that's my goal. I'm going to be slamming it. As I said, we're not sourcing. Every activity now is going into the next 3 months to get as much as I can up by the beginning of third quarter. I try to have as much up by third quarter. You know, that's just essential to what you're doing in my book. I'm going to be slamming. I don't want to cuss here, but I'm going to say a dirty word. I'm going to slam the shit out of eBay with as many listings as I can get. And I'm serious about this. I'm mad crazy to get as many bombed up there as I can. So, again, Sellbrite is my goal. To hopefully it works. Hopefully we'll get some huge results from it. So, you know, listing 25,000 new items on like, say, Amazon is going to be a huge push for me. Maybe it'll rotate some more stuff in there. Maybe it'll put me the #1 in the vintage, historical, and advertising categories, which is where I would list most of those paper items on Amazon. Again, I'm on gated and stuff that a lot of people can't get into. I've got some videos in my Patreon discussing that. So, again, if you want to see something like that, there is some in there. Going to be some more. You know, and then listing all these items up to Etsy all at once, too, is going to be huge. Plus, Sellbrite has some integration with Facebook, too. So through Shopify, Facebook, I'm going to have that same 25,000 listings from one single, from my eBay account. They're going to be on 5 different other accounts possibly by the end of this. So those 25,000 listings will be expanded to 125,000 listings, obviously the same ones, but on different sites. So that's my reach. My fingers will be reached out all over the net with these. We're going to have our own full-fledged page just selling our own items. You know, this is your goal. This is anybody out here. If you want to make it, you're going to make it big or you're going to make it small. I mean, it's your call. I want to make it big on this. I don't care to be rich, but I want to be successful where my kids can take over. If something happens to me, the wife will be fine. My kids will be fine. You know, they'll have a ready-made business here. You know, I can also build it up to a certain extent where I could sell it because I won't just be tied to eBay. Another aspect, and we'll get to questions in literally just a second here. Another one on this is I don't trust eBay with my listings, of course. You know, you can't do that. I love eBay. I love eBay, so not going to dog on them. But this way, all my listings now are in my own possession. So if something happens and eBay, you know, boots people off eBay all the time, you know, for stupid reasons that they shouldn't be, that they have to reinstate them. This way, everything is going to be mine now. You can download all of your stuff. It auto-syncs from eBay to Sellbrite. I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling it with it full steam, and we're rolling everything we can roll out here, as I said, full force. Got a new employee in here. He's just pretty much moved up with everybody else. So, life's good, and I'm not trying to brag or anything else like that, but you got to have this going on. You got to look at it now. This is the time to get everything ready for third and fourth quarter. So I'll get off my little high horse and not rant anymore. We're going to go to who's here today. We'll get some questions in here. Wife's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. And again, Carl did do one here, so if Carl did pop back in here, we'll shout at him a little while here too. I got Aaron. Aaron's a real good guy. He's very helpful. He's encouragement. Aaron's been in my groups and on Patreon. He's moderator on Facebook and here as well too. So Aaron's a good guy. Always glad to see him in here. Firster CV Bear, welcome. Tara, how you doing? Jason Blake, welcome. Postcard guy, how are you doing? Black Crystal again. I got Audrey. She's new to my group as well too. Louis Grace. Marine Duke, looking forward to learning something again. Thanks, Don. Well, I appreciate that very kindly. Clutch Howdy, how are you doing as well? Disney Family 515. Brisbane, here's perfect example. Here's Kathy. She is from Australia. I've got several, and I saw Duncan in here. He's mad crazy with those spiders. Not a big spider fan after spending some time recouping from a spider bite for 2 months. But anyway, Jeffrey, how are you doing? Clone Trooper, how we doing? Let's see here. Brick Quest, evening. David Pastor, Michelle Latham. Hey, Landshark. Landshark's got a channel too if you haven't checked that out. It's well worth the time. He's working on some of his own apps too that I saw the other day. Welcome, Shelley. I have been to Galveston. My wife has family in that area. Print me up. Hello, the best information YouTube. Wow, thank you very kindly. How to become a reseller. Thank you for the United Kingdom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We used to have a lot of friends in the UK when we worked at Disney. Hello from West Virginia. How you doing, Dan? Audrey, question for you. I noticed that many sheet music lots are auction, not bids. What's your take on it? And if I have a lot of WW1 related songs, do I list under sheet music or WW1? It depends on the cover on WW1 sheet music. If it's got something like a general or a officer on it, I would list it in the military. If it doesn't, and it's just a generic like Over the Top, Over the Hills, Here Comes the Boys, or U.S. to the Rescue or something like that, I would just list those in the actual music, sheet music section on those. I would not do auctions on those. Patreon, you are in there. You look up there. I've just posted a video today. I literally go into the differences on why I get more and the philosophy and how it works. So, and that goes for sheet music just as well. Excuse me, I've got a dog down here and I guess my allergies. But anyway, so watch that video, Audrey. I know you're in there. So, Carlene, how are you doing? Another one of our folks. Yeah, so happy for you, Don. Look forward to Wednesday. Well, thank you very kindly. Again, Wednesday, Benny's going to be here. If you're just joined in the show, Benny from Tenacious Toys is going to be live Wednesday, April 3rd, 9:30 in the morning. I will have him on my show. He is the first actual guest I will ever have on the show. Going to have some hype to this here for the beginning of the week, too. Benny runs Tenacious Toys. I would honestly recommend, in fact, give me just a second here. I'm going to put his store name on there. I think it's tenacioustoys.com. I think that is it. That should be in the chat there. Benny's a real good guy. Thrift Shop Hustler has worked with him too. He's Evilos on here as well. He's got another channel as well as Thrift Shop Hustler. That's Chris I know there's a few folks in here who know Chris as well too. He's got a channel too. We kind of have twin backgrounds, I guess, me and Chris. We've done a lot of similar things. I saw Scott, the Bearded Picker, in here just a little while ago. If you haven't checked out Scott's thing and you were into RA and FBA, he is the bomb for that, as well as some of the other folks on there too. But I noticed him in here, so we will call him out. Annie, welcome, Annie from Boston. How are you doing, Annie? Annie is one of my first mods. She has been with me since the beginning. Awesome person. She's extremely knowledgeable, and I'm not just saying that. Paper and all the stuff that I'm into, she's into too. She's a musician. I did look at your page, Annie, so just FYI. Let me see here. Larry, how are you doing? Kathy, welcome back. Kathy has a question. Do you think the FBE will cause it to be more difficult for beginners to get into doing? If you're not doing FBE, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a year or two at least before it really takes off. It's probably going to be mostly new stuff, would be my guess. Wholesale deals, RA items, stuff like that, just like you would on Amazon. The only thing this is going to lead to, though, on eBay, in my personal opinion, and I've talked about this extensively with some other folks, we've been going back and forth on these changes. I think it's going to lead to what eBay will be doing, which is some gating as well in some categories. So they'll be holding harder fast to the Veros. And I know there's people that say just because it's viral, you doesn't mean you can't list it. I don't list things if there's an issue with them, just because I don't need any bans or anything else like that. If eBay gives me a problem or pulls an item down, which they've done to a few items I've had, I just don't list it. I just list it somewhere else. I'm not going to rock the boat. I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me. And I know people say you're brown nosing, you're working for eBay. I have no dealings with eBay work-wise related at all. I don't go to eBay opened. All my time and efforts goes into doing what I do, videos and our business. So, I'm not here to schmooze up with anybody. I don't take freebies, so to speak. Sellbrite, I'm trying to see if they'll give me a discount to offer to subscribers. I don't know where we're going to go with that, but, I've offered it out there, and we'll see what happens with that. So, anyway, I got you, Kathy, on that one. I'll see. Yes. I think I include Kathy in the last Bolo and in the video coming up for the weekend Bolo video on Patreon. I think I actually have a couple Australian items in there. And I know you saw the books in there from Australia too, I would say, from the last book video. I applied for FBA pilot here, but we'll have to see if I get accepted. If I do, we'll share fees. Yeah, let me know on that, Kathy. Just don't get yourself in trouble on anything. I heard it was a process too. It's just like on Amazon, you got to go through some steps. Amazon's changed here and there, just like getting ungated on Amazon and stuff. Again, I am ungated in collectibles on Amazon. And I know everybody says they don't sell. And I've heard everybody say, artwork and things like that don't sell in there. They have an art field on Amazon as well. Handmade on Amazon. It's basically like an Etsy. It does sell on there. The collectibles do sell on Amazon. Amazon has a business-to-business, which we are in the business-to-business program. So on some of my screens, like for those in my Patreon, you've seen my Amazon page once or twice. You can see the B2B. That is a whole new program that Amazon has as well, which we are a member of. So, Amazon offers other stuff that you don't see in there. You've got to dig into it. It's just like merch by Amazon. We're in that too. Anything you can get your hands in. As I said, I'm on many platforms and many sites. It's the only way to get this going. You got to be as crazy about this as I am to just bomb everything you can, I guess. There's a ton of people out there that just have just as much gumption, I guess you could call it, as I do, but I'm not stopping. I don't care what happens. We're going to fail. We're going to mess up something. We're going to lose money on this, or something's going to happen here. I'm going full steam no matter what. My foot's down on the gas, and I am flooring it from this point on. We are rocking it all the way to third quarter, as I'm telling you. You're going to see some numbers from us on third and fourth quarter. That's my only goal at this point, as I said. So anyway, let's pop on down here and see who's in. Time for Tom Collins, Dan. No, I think the wife has maybe some Tom Collins. She'll be down in just a second here. She was here just a second ago. She does stuff too as well, so she's not always just handy like as well, because it's not just me, as you know. My kids work for us, wife works for us, we've got the twins working for us, we've got several other people working for us. I've actually got 9 employees. I only can do 12 before it starts to cost me more money with my accountant. So, we're actually talking about a warehouse once we start branching out. Once Sellbrite starts going in, we're going to some trade shows. I'm going to some fairs, some business fairs this next month here too. So if stuff starts going, I might do some videos on maybe getting yourself into wholesale. Another FYI here too. Now this is a big one here for those of you who are using the boxes from Walmart, which I've used for 5 or 6 years. The 12 by 12 by 10 box from Walmart, the one I send a lot of stuff in, has a discontinued sticker on the shelf today. She told me that they were getting more in tonight, so I don't know why they're getting more in if it's supposedly a discontinued item. So if that is the case, I'm a little worrisome towards those folks who are using different boxes. But I have an alternative already for pretty much everybody, which I'll probably put together in a video for those in the future when I decide or find out what's going on with Amazon or with Walmart. If Walmart cuts off those boxes, why the heck they would do that? My store sells out pretty much within 2 days of them getting into the store. You can't order those. I know certain times of the year you can order the boxes from them, but I have a box manufacturer that's 2 cents cheaper than Walmart. I have to buy in quantity. If I buy in big enough quantity, it's way cheaper than Walmart. And I'm trying to work out something to actually go in there, and I'm going to show you maybe what the end cuts are too. I'm hoping he'll let me do that in there. I don't know about the safety features, but I've talked about getting cheap bubble wrap and cutting everybody who's buying bubble wrap from a store, a supplier, or anything else like that. I can get it cheaper than anybody else around. Well, not anybody. Anybody who knows about end cuts can get it really cheap. And I've told some of the local folks around here, they get them now from the same people I got them from. So, it's something that you can do. It's really cheap. I'll go into details on that. If you have any questions on what end cuts are and how I get a 400 to 600 foot roll of bubble wrap for $15, that's 12 to 18 inches wide or even 24 inches wide, I'll talk about that as well too. But those are called end cuts. Well, thank you, Audrey. I really appreciate that super chat. Again, everything goes back into the channel. I've got a better laptop to hopefully alleviate some of the issues with lag time and things like that as well, too. So, again, I honestly appreciate it. Super chats, I never asked for I honestly forget that they're there most of the time. I just go on my talk, and then I literally don't realize it until they pop up. But, again, thank you very kindly, Audrey. Again, it goes to help everything and produce these shows. We're investing more time. We've invested more money. I'm trying to include more things to give you the best darn information I can, which is essential to getting this business to work. So, the wife's here right now. She's just popped down here. Here's my better half. She is sliding on here. For those who are new, this is Marky, my lovely wife. We've been together for well over 20 years. We met at Disney. We might share some Disney stories. I constantly, the number one question we're asked besides reselling is always the Disney story. So we worked for Disney for 10 years. We both have full-fledged pensions, pensions through Dean Witter for 10 years fully. They actually paid us off for the whole pension. So, I've got a long life and history with Disney. We still have friends that work there right this very second. Quite a few, not just a couple, but dozens and dozens of people that we know that are, 25, 30 years in. I mean, we had 10 years apiece in at Disney, but we'll get into that as well here in just a few minutes here. Let me see here where we at. The info is also on Google. Yes, Larry's Treasures. It is. I searched all this stuff up. I went to the sites directly. I've got a ton of stuff on eBay. I got more than most people you'll run into. Obviously, we're not number one in any field whatsoever. Maybe Victorian trade cards were like the biggest seller, but you gotta pay attention to what's going on in your business. Just like when you're driving down the road, you're looking not the car right in front of you. You're looking 3, 4, 5 cars ahead to see if they're stopping up there. It's the same thing with business. So.
Time for Tom.
Yeah,
Collins.
I saw that. She has one here. She didn't make me one, but we'll forgive her. No, it's okay. I've got a drink here. Just giving her a hard time.
As always.
As always now. Hey now. Let's see here. Kathy, for instance, will this cause eBay to start gating? Yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying. I would say it would have to cause eBay to start gating. And what it would probably lead to is, supplying invoices, just like on Amazon. They're going to have the same basic model. It's going to be the same structure. I can't see any difference because everything they're doing is matching Amazon. eBay Plus is Amazon Prime. It's the same thing. They've already got millions of those items already available in Australia. Again, test market. That's what it is. Let's see. We get private Amazon drivers delivering packages to me all the time. Yep, as I said. Even with the UPS information, UPS has a deal right now, bona fide, 100%. It's on their actual site where they will store your items at UPS. And it just stands to reason it just started just as eBay was announcing these pilot programs. It's obviously UPS who eBay is using right now. They have special deals with Amazon not with Amazon. Well, I guess they do have Amazon special deals. But the point is they have them with eBay. When Amazon starts to deliver all their own packages, it's going to cut off UPS. UPS's biggest client, from what I've been told and seen, is Amazon. So UPS is going to be offering eBay some one heck of a deal. I could honestly see them offering, £1 and less packages for a reduced rate, a very reasonable rate, because they might get a 20% boost in business. They could get a 30% boost in business by taking on FBA for eBay. This could be a huge game changer. This could put eBay right there up in level with Amazon for many different items. Not everything, I don't see, but, Amazon's going after the collectible market, from what I understand, too, if you haven't seen some articles that are going around. So if Amazon starts to take the collectibles market, it might be worth you getting in there or trying to get in there now, in all honesty. That's why I'm pumping out 25,000 listings straight to Amazon this weekend, hopefully. If everything works out with Sellbrite, we're going to have 25,000 more listings in my store right now on Amazon. So, right now we've got, I don't know, thousands of stuff right now, but this is really going to up my Amazon. We're going to see how well full-fledged collectibles, vintage, postcards, paper does on Amazon through Sellbrite. I'll let you guys, everybody's going to know. It's either going to make it or break it, and we'll see what happens. Again, I'm doing Shopify from this point on. We're going full-fledged, those 25,000. We're going to shell out a massive amount of money to get them all up on Etsy as well, too. We're just going to roll it all out there and invest the money. Got to spend money to make it. My hopes and goals would be, with that many items in, that I'm going to at least get my money back off Etsy right off the bat, hopefully. It might be a ton of packaging, but we've already got contingency plans. I've got other people available to ship and pack, so it could be a massive day, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be like a foreshadowing of third and fourth quarter, so anyway.
Did you want a sip of my Tom
No, I'll
Collins?
let you. I've got a drink. Let's see where we at.
Right in here.
RCMADIAX. The sign up for Plus it's only on Australia and Europe right now. So in the video that I have, it's in the comments section, a link to my video. You can actually go right from there and see the articles, and many of the articles actually had links to all of these things that they were doing. I show in the video the link to I think I've got the German site in there and the Aussie site, which literally shows the sign up page for all these services. It's right there in random. If you type in eBay plus Australia, you should get a direct click link actually in your search from Chrome right up to it. So I got the eBay's one fairly easily once I put in fulfillment for eBay, I think is what I put, and pilot program. It showed right up to the page that eBay's offering right now. So
you got this one.
Let's see here. In fact, we've got a double screen up here. So, in fact, I've got a mouse so I can actually see it. So, it does the same thing. We'll just look at it over here. Our feeds are terrible. I think eBay will be able to compete with Amazon and share the market. I don't either will win the whole thing. eBay has the collectibles and secondhand. Yeah, I think that's about the case too. I think it's going to bring eBay up. So for all those who are dogging and jumping off the eBay bandwagon, I could see eBay or Amazon in the future, especially eBay, buying Poshmark. I know it's obviously nowhere near that stage right now, but I could see them doing it. Somebody else told me, and there's no proof of this, so it's probably just hearsay, that eBay had already talked to Poshmark at one point. I don't know if that's true. I'm just repeating something that someone told me. So again, I have no proof on that whatsoever. So I wouldn't put it past them. They have bought up other competitors. Poshmark's getting a decent share. Again, they're nowhere near any of the eBay or Amazon in any way, shape, or form. They're not even near Ruby Lane, and Ruby Lane's pretty small. So anyway, I have 2,500 items stored and would love to not have to store my inventory. And people said, would you trust eBay or UPS or whoever's going to do it? It's going to be a third party, obviously, because that way eBay has no money invested into doing the actual FBA. They have nothing invested. It's UPS who's going to store the items. It's UPS already has warehouses. If they lose Amazon as a client, they won't have the need to build a whole bunch more warehouses because they won't have all the Amazon items. All they'll be doing is then doing FBA for eBay and filling that same space. They've already got the infrastructure in place. They've already got this. They've been testing it in other countries for a long time. You can fulfill, instead of FBA for Amazon, you can UPS for Amazon and UPS the FBA, believe it or not. So if you're a huge seller, you can do it in several different markets and compete with yourself almost. So is this just for the big time eBay sellers? Right now, I would probably say yes in this country for sure, but in Australia, it doesn't seem to be tied to any specific amount of sellers. Obviously, it's a pilot. Well, it's not even a pilot. They're rolling out a beta version. So it's beyond the test phase. It's beyond the pilot phase. It's in the third stage, which is the final stage before it rolls full-fledged all the way across the board. eBay Plus, though, is active right now in Australia. Go look at these pages. I'm telling you, this is coming here in 4 or 5 more months. You better be ready for this and get yourself in the row. You can right now call here in the U.S. and do the interview, and they're going to do an interview with you from eBay for this program. So, and that's here for the U.S. again. It's not some far-flung fantasy thing. eBay is going full-fledged right after Amazon, at least to try and pick up a bigger share of the market. This is going to kind of push out like some of the other markets, is my opinion. This might push Poshmark down. This might push Bonanza down, which Bonanza is fairly down anyway. It's going to push Ruby. It's going to push all these other places because it will push eBay up higher in the rankings. It will push them right below Amazon in most of these items. I guarantee it. That's what they're working on. That's where their money's going. They're working with less people, but they're working on technology better than anything else. It doesn't take a whole bunch of rocket scientists to do this. You know, most anybody here listening to this video could take a couple college classes and do basic coding, I promise you. You know, I picked it up really easily, and once you know one coding, you can pick up any of the other ones. They're so similar. PHP, Visual Basic. I mean, they all are so darn close. It's not even funny. So anyway. How you doing, David? Welcome. Hoptman, how are you doing there? Hey, Scott. Again, I called you out a little while ago. I saw your name, but I'm slow on getting up there. I try to answer everybody's question the best I can, so do apologize. Scott's a real good guy. If you haven't checked out his page, him and his wife have been going through some major medical issues. My heart goes out to the guy. He's a real good family guy and stuff, so... You know, the wife's watches. He reminds us of cousin Billy. So we've got somebody who he'd fit right in with us. In all honesty, I mean, I could see working with the guy. He's got a background similar to mine. He worked in foods as well. So Scott's a real good guy. If you haven't seen his channel either, Bearded Picker. He's all over the place too. He's on Instagram just like we are. Anyway. Mark Tatum, how are you doing? He's got the check. If you don't know what that check means, I do believe that means you have 100,000 and you have been certified. Welcome, congrats. One of these days, hopefully, I am on Sellbrite to make sure you test the image posting, as I have had some issues with posting images to Amazon, for example. Yeah, I've talked to them. I did one of their live webinars where they answer the questions for you. Hopefully, you're still on. But literally, I've been investigating Sellbrite for a while. I know somebody who's used it for a while, and I checked it out at their house the other day, and I was quite surprised how quickly he had listings going across to multiple platforms. Again, if you're new to eBay, you know, start off the right way. Do policies. Set up like you're going to have 1 million items in your store from day one. Don't start off without plans for storage. Don't start off with without plans for every aspect of it. Label them, bin them, mark them. Everything you can do. Get systems in place. When you have the extra time and you can't source or there's nowhere to go, spend your time researching stuff whenever you're starting off on this stuff. Let's see here. Does Sellbrite work with Posh and Mercari? I don't know. I gave up on Poshmark, honestly, so I wasn't looking at that. Mercari is such a small market from again, I talk about that in another video, but nothing against the site. I haven't used it personally. I've talked about it. Bonanza would be more my choice to use, honestly, and I do believe that is part of Sellbrite, if I'm not mistaken. I'll try and remember to come back and post yes or no in the comment section down here, or you can add that question so I don't forget if you want. I got you there, Aaron. Yeah, we're going to muscle through this, and we're going to get every darn thing we can get up, honestly. Well, thanks there, Black Crystal. Dan, yep. Full throttle all the way. There's my spider guy, Duncan. No funnel webs for us there, Duncan. Do we make out the listing like normal before you send the item to eBay Plus? I don't know all the final details on how it works on there. I am honestly looking into it. I've got some emails going back and forth, and I'm trying to get a full breakdown on how it works from somebody who's actually using it right this second. As I said, I've got a dozen or more people from Australia that are either in my groups or my pages that I do talk to. So I'm trying to get some better answers on that because I want to know what's in store for us, because 4 or 5 months down the road, this is going to happen here in the U.S. It's happened every time they do something. It's rolled from one spot to... You laughing about the spiders?
No. I guess you said a dirty word.
Yeah.
Naughty.
I'll get back to you in just a second there at Zombie. I'm not one to throw out stuff like that. I get a little aggravated when I'm looking through stuff on eBay and there's nude stuff in the postcard section. Stuff like that. They're throwing adult stuff in here. My kids have been next to my PC even at age 7 and 8, so we're cautious on stuff like that. So I know, I'll say it again, shit's not really a bad word, but you don't hear that kind of stuff from me. I grew up in, a church as an altar boy, and, where I worked, you couldn't cuss, and, you got caught cussing at Disney, you get written up for it the very first time.
I was raised by pirates and sailors.
Yeah, she was. She's got a foul mouth on her, so we fit together very well. So, yeah, hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button. I know there's 3 folks that come out to every video I have, watch it, and then put a thumbs down on it. I don't know why they watch it, but I've pretty much confirmed that they watch it before they put the thumbs down, so I don't know, get the information or not. I get just as much credit whether you put thumbs down or thumbs up. Obviously, I'd rather have thumbs up just for, show face value. But, it doesn't matter. YouTube counts a thumbs up and a thumbs down as a plus.
Yeah.
So, leave it if you want. I smile, we laugh, especially because usually the minute it happens, I've got an increase in 1 in my watch count. We've watched. I know where it's coming from, at least one of them. Because it's somebody I've blocked from my page because they were foul. But anyway.
They were chicken? Foul, get it?
Foul, yeah, they were chicken, I guess.
I had to do that pun.
If somebody speaks something that's not correct or not honest or accurate, I'm going to call it out. I don't care what the case is. I'm here for the proper information. I know pretty much if I'm going to call it out, I'm pretty darn sure that I'm correct on the issue. I've done this for 20 years. I'm not some genius or anything. I've just done it for 20 years. If I can't figure out what's going on and give the correct information after 20 years, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. So, just FYI, I don't talk about stuff I don't know. I don't talk about sports. I don't go into clothing. I don't know them as well, so. Most expensive item we sold was a Prevost motorhome for somebody else. It sold for $256,000 and some change. I got a 5 or... I don't remember the commission, but it was the most we ever made off of one single sale. I want to say we took 5% because it was somebody we knew, but it probably was 10 if I'm not mistaken. They paid for all the fees. They handled everything. The money was held in escrow through our business account bank, so everything was dealed, and I knew that there wasn't going to be any issues. It was signed off. We had legal documents in the whole works. There's 3 parties present: the person purchasing it, the purchasers who owned it, and then me. There was the bank. One of the bank people was there too. But anyway, that's the most expensive thing we sold. The most expensive thing we've sold personally that we actually owned. Well, there's a couple of them.
My soul. No.
Well, people have sold their soul on eBay, believe it or not. I saw a human soul sold on eBay and I used to keep pages. I still have some. It went for $57,000, someone's soul. So anyway, the most expensive thing after that was probably one of our Northern Soul records. I've sold a record or two for around almost $5,000. The highest price I think I ever sold for one item, it was like $49.50. Then we sold a couple in the $4,700 range. I've sold some for $4,200. Mostly records. I've also sold, what else have we sold?
Remember the Flying Tigers?
Flying Tigers photos. Yeah. Flying Tigers photos were the next one, and we got...
Those were nice. 2
or 3 lots. We got like $4,000 out of a stack of those 2.
That was when Tim was in the NICU.
Yeah, our infant. I should have held on to them, but it was thousands of dollars, and I was new, and we needed the money, and we had a newborn. The people who bought them, or the gentleman who bought them, actually wrote a book about it and used all of our photos in that book. I think it's in the top 1,000 books in the military section, if I'm not mistaken. But I could have held on to them and sold them at Sotheby's for like $40,000 or $50,000. It actually had General Chenal, and they were actually photos of everybody ID'd in the actual. And they were in China before December 7th, mind you. They were in China, and they were all dated. Everybody's named. It had General Chiang Kai-shek and his wife. It had Chanel, all like personal photos of them eating and stuff. And it had everybody ID'd. Every single photo said who they were, where it was. They had bombing photos before we even admitted to bombing these areas. It was probably the best photo lot we've ever had.
Didn't you pay like $10 for
I paid $10 for them too. She's right. It was $10 for all these.
Antique
It was a little antique in Claremont, Florida.
Yep.
There was a little antique store downtown. We used to ride our bikes to it with my son on a bike seat. My son, we used to ride bikes everywhere in Florida. We were bike crazy. We used to do 10 miles to get to this place from the trail.
Yeah.
We'd ride straight down the street from our house, hit the trail, and go to the antique stores and the thrift stores via bike. This was 20 years ago. So we've done stuff
been that
together for a
long.
long time. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, but we love bike riding, pedal bikes. Motorcycles are fine too, but I'm not going to get killed on a bike.
I'm not brave enough to go on a
Yeah,
motorcycle.
she won't do that.
I am too chicken.
Hi
from Tennessee.
Welcome from Tennessee.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I've been to Pittsburgh as well too. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't. We do have a lot of people watching. If you enjoy it, please hit the like button. There's my third thumbs down, which I'm fine. There's always 3 at least, and it's the same 3. They come to every single video, which is fine. We get a big kick out of it. They're not allowed to leave feedback, one of them, so that's his payback, I guess. No skin off my nose.
You want me to scroll down?
Yeah. That was a good horse to be on. I'm not sure which horse you're talking about there, Land Shark. I know I'm a little off on the question, so I'm sure it was something we were talking about. Hey, I'm out of Irwin. Not sure where Irwin's at. Hello, Chronic Complainer. Rotten Groton. I do plan for quarters because there's seasonal items you have to get up in certain quarters, Rotten. You got to at least think of it that way. I know we always work, but we plan ahead. I'm looking ahead because we do wholesale. So I don't have to put up anything but one listing, and then I sell hundreds of items in a day sometimes. So wholesale, and I can wholesale the same item on 3 different sites, including Amazon and eBay. That's where you're making the big money. I can just ship something somewhere. That's why if FBA for eBay does start coming into play, we've got wholesale deals right now that I will honestly, no matter what, send to that. And it'll be one more thing I don't have to worry about. In some cases, if it's a local wholesale, I have to go to a place and ship them from that place. I'll have to sit there for an hour or 2, and we'll have to open up Home Depot boxes and tape them all up and label them. And I'll take the laptop there, and, we'll sit out there. And sometimes, in the summer, it's not so fun to do that. So, because most of the warehouses we go to and do this with are not air conditioned. So, anyway. You've been to a few of them. They're pretty hot, are they not?
Yeah. Well, I lived in Mississippi.
Well, still.
Worked on a farm.
How you doing, Postcard Guy? Greetings again from the UK. Wouldn't mind going there one day. Carl Bonham, howdy. Love the big brick background. Yeah, you got to watch out with your backgrounds on these again because there are copyrights on stuff that we have. Some of these we do have to pay for. I'm going to show some just plain on green screen videos for the Patreon videos. I got another one coming out next week. We're going to touch on storage in a Patreon video. And I'll try to put one out here once in a while, like a throwback without the green screen, and we'll talk about storage on some of these sites too. Duncan, I still see sellers complaining no sales and see their store. They have less than 50. Poor photos. I knew where that was going, Duncan. Quantity means everything in the summer. I don't care what anybody else says. Quantity means everything in the summer. I mean, I can't say that enough. If you don't have a lot of stuff up, you're not going to sell a lot in general on any day of the week. But your goal is to get as much stuff up as you can as quickly as you can. Some sellers who just do wholesale and don't do the reselling and stuff are living off wholesale. Most of their money is made in the end of third quarter and in fourth quarter. And then after that, they're slow through certain parts of the year, depending on what they sell.
Remember all the Barbie shoes that we had? It was just a whole bunch of vintage Barbie shoes. The little mules from the earliest dolls.
Oh, yeah. She scored on some Barbie shoes.
And we sold them like in
individual,
not as a whole lot.
Individual pairs of shoes. She found that. Barbie shoes, the vintage original ones, we sold some individual pairs, off subject for a second, but some individual pairs of the little Barbie shoes for $60 and $70 a pair, and we had like 100 and some odd pairs of Barbie shoes.
Someone took care of them. I would have eaten them as a kid.
Or they took them off, set them aside, and didn't use them on the dolls. That was another one of those weird things. You're going to run across big bulk lots. The other day, somebody offered me like 10,000 uncut keys. I should have probably bought them, but I wasn't wanting to have to deal with sorting 10,000 keys. And they do much better if you can sort them out. And there are some keys that aren't legal to sell, and there were some of those in there. If you don't know, you cannot sell blank security and bank box keys, and there's some like what's the company's name? Like the Armored Car Services. There's some door keys and some blanks for like secure and lockbox systems that you can't sell the blanks for at all. It's a crime. I don't know what kind of crime it is, but I know you can't sell them here.
When you said uncut keys, all I could think of was Scarface, because I just watched
Oh,
that
Scarface,
with
yeah.
Marjo. Good time.
Good time, Scarface. That's a classic. You have to watch that once in your life. Let's see here. Just started with 26 listings with Sellbrite as well. So far, so good. Kurt, there's another person on Sellbrite. Sellbrite is ranked out of all reselling and tools, not just ones that cross list, but all of them, anywhere from 8.5 to like 9.25 out of 10. That's higher than eBay. That's higher than eBay's ranking. That's why I say I'm going with Sellbrite. I spent hours looking into this. I wasted a lot of time into picking the right thing. I watched all the videos that I already called that one up. I watched all the videos that they offered. There's videos on YouTube by Sellbrite. There's not a lot of people that watch them, but I've looked into this. I've done the webinars. Sellbrite is our choice right now. Let's see here. A bank in town. Where are we at?
Oh, that's just them talking. And
Triplets, yeah. I think, Scott, you know Chris, too, from Thrift Shop Hustler as well, too. So he's got similar issues as well and similar backgrounds. Again, Scott's got a real good channel, as does Landshark Picker. They do a lot more FBA videos and stuff. Again, I do a lot of RA. I got a box I just picked up today. I was at Walmart with the box issue, and of course, I was only supposed to be there for a few minutes and ended up getting the wife some what did I get you? The Georgia peach Coke, and then
yeah.
I had to go through all the markdowns because they were actually pulling stuff off while I was in the store. And I dropped my son off at like 6:15, something like that today. And literally, I didn't get home. And Walmart's 5 minutes from my house. I was there for over an hour looking through all the markdown junk. So I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it. But, you're in the store. There was toys. I had to get it. The toys were some really good. I mean,
I love toys.
I ain't going to call it out. I wish I could call it out, but I still got a couple more Walmarts to go before I say anything. But needless to say, it's $32 profit on each item I got. I got 17 of them at 2 Walmarts today. I left that Walmart and went to another one. There's 2 in my local area. So anyway, Scott's a good guy, though. That's the point. Hoptman, welcome back. Just picked up 1,000 World War II photos of college student storage unit and more vintage hats. That talking about hats, let me pull a hat out here.
I was wondering.
I'm gonna put on my favorite hat. So I'm sure some of you know whose hat this is. I made this. I've talked about making props, making stuff. I made this with my son. You can sell this kind of stuff. Just FYI, I know this is crazy, but we're just talking about hats here. This is actually a cardboard sign with tape. A used, ripped up leather jacket that I got for free from a thrift store. Lining from a coat. And this is the only thing I actually bought was $5 worth of fabric. I can make 10 so hats of these. These sell at a show or an event for about 55 to say 75 bucks. I spent 2 hours to make it. Made it with my kids, so we were goofing off. So, this is something people can do. Again, there's so many things that you can make yourself that sound crazy, but they sell. I don't mind making something, and we made a couple. I've sold every one I've made. So again, crazy items sell very well. Believe it or not, there's professional companies that make these, but I can make them to a custom size out of cardboard. Our Tusken Raider, we made Tusken Raider costumes.
No, you made it.
We made them
that.
for the whole family. I've got photos. For Thanksgiving, I'll post some too. For and Halloween, you'll get to see a lot in my Instagram page as well too. So anyway. Good going there, Hopman, though, too. I'd love to pick up 1,000 World War II photos. I'd have to keep some of them, though, unfortunately. My son's looking for some Tiger tank photos, so anyway, that's what he wants. I got him some Sherman tank photos the other day.
He's going to need a bigger bedroom.
Hey, Scott, how you doing? Welcome. Fabulous looking Tim Burton movie out there. Thank you always.
I'll have to check that out. I like Tim Burton, too.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I just saw that. Yeah, I got a huge lot of golden books. Somebody just posted a couple golden books, and I think it was, I know it's one with a puzzle. ukulele, my ukulele. I can't think of the title of it. Somebody will probably call it out to me, but the little golden books always sell. They're not huge movers, as I said, just like everything that we get. Each item that we get or each category isn't huge on its own, but we're in 100 different categories. Every dollar adds up, I guess. You're fighting for every dollar you can get.
Yeah, get your boxing gloves on.
I will get my boxing gloves on if I have to.
I don't know. I'd like to watch that.
Well, you've missed the young days when I used to be a bad kid, but Duncan, so many sellers complaining about forced good till cancel. Sellers even quitting over it. We just has to accept changes on. I'm going to tell you a fact here that most people still don't get, and eBay quotes this. I didn't trust eBay at all for quoting figures on stuff that they push monetarily wise. If you look at sales, there's 3 categories of sales prior to the changeover. You had your random, obviously auctions are one category. Then you had your good till cancels, and then you had your standardized where you can do the 7 to 30 day, listings and then ends. There's 3 different categories of listings, and eBay has graded and rated them by what sells the most of. Good till canceled always sells. Overall, they have got much higher percentage of selling than any other ones on eBay's whole site. Good till canceled. They outsell the 30 days, the 7-day ones, all of them. Item to item comparison. Apples to apples, oranges to oranges. That's a fact. And that's not just from an eBay. I found that same information and not quoted from eBay, from people who done searches on like e-commerce news.com or e-commercebytes.com, any of those sites, any of that, and they're a conglomeration of news for internet activity and stuff. So in all honesty, eBay is correct on that. Good till cancels will get you more money. From everything I see and everything I personally sell, we were from at one point all good till cancels. Everything. It saves me time. It saves me a lot of time to do that. So the time factor alone, and I sell stuff all the time. If you sell in the categories that we sell in, which are all vintage, you don't have much competitors, no matter what the case. I always show up on the first page of almost everything we sell. I always show up on the top of the Google searches on almost anything we sell in the vintage category. Wholesale is a different story. We do pay for some of the wholesale advertisements. We do Facebook posts and stuff too. So, I've paid for Facebook Marketplace for wholesale items. You got to do stuff like that. So, if you're on FBA, you can market your stuff too, especially if it's a wholesale that you have a contract with, that you are the sole person who can sell it in your area. That's another key to getting this to work. So, Sellbrite, hang on, let me just pop in the link down there. Sellbrite, Sellbrite. It's a website, yes. I don't know about the app, whether they have an app. I don't really care about an app. We do everything from the house for listing anyway. And I got a link. I just piped in the address down there. So if you look down in the feed, you'll see it. Let's see here. Kathy Reese also sold my first postcard jazz one going to Japan. I'm probably a Louis Armstrong or probably a 1910, 1520s jazz performer would be my guess. Yeah, it's a software. Thanks, Annie. Annie got it up there too. Wubba Lubba Dubba, which is Rick and Morty, if you didn't know. Always glad to see that name. We just watched Rick and Morty just a little while ago. We usually play something while we're listing. I've got, younger kids who work for me. Well, not kids. They're adults, I think, now at this point. So.
Hi, Kathy.
Where's Kathy?
What were we watching? That really weird
twist.
twisted...
We found there's a show, and I don't even what's it on Netflix. If you guys like something weird
really
out there,
dark and twisted.
It's a dark twisted. It's called Happy, Happy. It's based on a comic book. There's a few scenes here and there, a little adult, but it's like a Pulp Fiction meets almost a Roger the Rabbit. I don't know what would be close to it.
It's just odd.
It's odd. It's got a lot of violence. It's almost like Sin City meets Roger Rabbit almost. It was really impressive for what it was. I liked it. We watched the whole thing. It's one season. It's the end of it. It's Sci-Fi Network. I don't watch much stuff like that, but we started with the first episode, and I really liked it. I have to say, and I don't call out much stuff, but we were bored. It was new. Somebody clicked a link for us to it, and I'm like, let's check it out. But enough on the Happy. But Happy, we watched the whole thing. Good. It was Happy. Let's see here. Tip: find a styrofoam recycling center nearby. They sell giant bags. I hate packing peanuts.
Remember when we had a cat and they had the peanuts stuck all over their fur?
Yeah, I hate the peanuts. I don't send peanuts out anymore at all because last one I sent out, the person had static all over. It was winter, and I try to never use peanuts. Nothing against anybody who does. Yeah, I could see the recycling having that. I get end cuts, so I get bigger rolls. It's probably the exact same size that you're talking about.
Yeah, the bubble wrap. The kids loved it.
The bubble wrap rolls I get are like 6 foot tall. We have to fit them in the back of the van and smash them down to get them in.
And the kids would lay on them.
Yeah,
when they were little.
I can make beds out of them. But we pay $15. It's brand new. The recycling, anybody who's sending that to the recycler doesn't know that they can sell them as end cuts. So, just FYI. And with the end cuts, too, on some of the companies around here, I can get them to drop them off at my house for free sometimes if they're in my area. So just FYI. So I don't have to pick them up. They're huge.
Just roll them home.
It's 600 feet, like 24 inches wide at the most. And the smallest I ever got them, I think, was like 12 or 14 inches, which is fine for the small items I sell. Hey, Stone Creek Picker. Welcome as well. Kenny, I didn't call you out. Sorry. Oh, there's Kathy. That's what you were talking about. Sorry. Just checked out Sellbrite's site, and unfortunately it doesn't support McCrary, OfferUp, Posh, or any other marketplace other than Amazon. It does Etsy, it does Shopify, it does Walmart. Those are the ones that I use. So I'm not worried about Poshmark because I don't do clothing. And I'm not... Hang on. I wanted... And I haven't touched McCrary, but again, I don't do OfferUp either. I'm not interested. They're adding sites every day, so from what I understand, they're constantly working at adding the rest. I would pretty much guarantee you that those sites will be on there as well. I'm not interested in those sites, so again, it might not be for everybody. Vendio, I think, is the other one that does it. I'm looking at cost as well. The good thing with Sellbrite is they only bill you. You're charged for how many items you sell, not how many items you have, cross-listed. So if I get up to, say, 75,000 listings by the end of summer, which is our goal, it's going to cost me a fortune to cross-list on Vendio or any of the other sites because they've got like 1,000 limit to start with and stuff. And I mean, it's just not practical. So for me, Sellbrite's what we're going to shoot at. And I'm going for the big, and I'm looking at wholesale-wise as well for these. So, just because you see my eBay site and all these vintage stuff here, we're rolling full-time in RA, FBA, wholesale, and all that kind of stuff as well right now, too. I don't show it because, again, we're in niches. I've got 3 items, and I've been talking about this for a while, that we've been on for almost 3 years that make us religiously money every single week, on daily, honestly, not just every single week, but every single day I sell some of these items. And, I could pretty much shut down everything else and still at least pay my bills with these 3 items for the last 3 years. It's until somebody else finds them, then it'll be a different story. But right now, I'm not worried, so... We desperately need a tool that works with those marketplaces. In my opinion, eBay is probably going to put some move on buying one of these other sites, in my personal opinion. McCrary and Poshmark are too small for them to touch, is my also opinion on that as well. I know the folks who sell a lot, it's a small, minuscule amount compared to some, even like Ruby Lane outweighs like some of these other sites. So I'm just looking at it from a viewership per month. I'm not willing to learn another site right now. I can increase, probably maybe even 40 or 50% increase in sales just by doing Sellbrite with the sites that are available. So, and I'm on 9 platforms. So, Shopify will be number 10 once we hit Shopify. And that'll be our own stuff too, so. Aaron here, got a good question. Which platform would rise to the 3rd position in that scenario? There's a huge difference between... Let's see where we're at on time. There's a huge difference between Amazon being number 1. Let's just say, I'm not counting all their views. I'm counting, native and the whole works. Let's say Amazon gets 1 billion views a month. That's their max views they get. eBay gets 250 million or close to 1/3 billion, in that range, depending on the season. Poshmark gets... at the most, maybe 3 or 4 million. At the most. So you're talking a huge difference. Poshmark's one of the bigger ones, and that's nothing. McCrary, Bonanza, Ruby Lane, and there's another one. There's one more, Cherished Treasures, or Cherished maybe is the other one. They get like maybe 1 million at most, those sites. So, that's what they're looking at. And that's McCrary is included in there. Poshmark may be the third biggest one, and that's not very big at all, in all honesty. I know people make a living on it. It's new, so it's a new kitschy thing. All those people who jump ship and left in bad terms with eBay. eBay pushes out FBA for eBay. You might be sorry you did that because you're going to be in the same boat being maybe gated out. I'm going to be grandfathered in. I'm not giving up eBay. I knew stuff was down the chain. I don't talk about everything I know. Some things we're not supposed to talk about. Some things I'm given information that I can't verify, so I don't like to publish things that aren't verified. But, you better be ready for it because, like Scott, the bearded picker, let's bring him in here for just a second here. He's grandfathered into stuff. He can sell, like, shoes, Nike shoes. I don't know many people who are grandfathered into stuff like that on Amazon. And we've been on Amazon now for a long time at this point. So I can sell many things that many people can't sell. I can sell Hasbro. We do a lot of Migos on there. And during, last quarter, it was Wonder Woman dolls. We sold a ton of Wonder Woman dolls I bought wholesale. Wholesale deals on Migo, ungated. There's a bunch of stuff I'm ungated for that most people would be surprised. I can sell vinyl, vintage vinyl, historical, political, advertising, and collectibles in general. I can sell collectible toys in there, vintage opened used toys as well, to sell on eBay or on Amazon as well, too, believe it or not. So, anyway. Hopefully that answers it, Aaron. Poshmark, maybe. Hey, Steven, how you doing tonight? Steven Rose Resells. Welcome, Cato Creek Traders. He's another good guy as well, too. Couple of pickers. How are you doing? Marie, how are you doing tonight? Rich Sanders. Question. Have a basic eBay store selling mostly collectibles. Have 250 bin with BO up. And even has ways to put in the 250 free auctions to avoid listing fees. Yeah, I put stuff in that I don't think's going to really rake me out. When I use mine, I do 333 items per store, and I'll list them 3 times. So that basically means I'm not paying at all for those items. I literally list them for the 10 days 3 times. That's my 30 days worth of free listings. I pick stuff that I want to get rid of to do on the auctions because auctions are not the best way to sell anything. People tell me no, but unless it's a really rare item that there's no way to know where it's going to go, I would always do a bin. I do auctions for those rare items and those ones that I know should do well on those. But it's like 0.5% or 1% of everything that we ever touch is better as a auction that way versus the 99.9% of everything else that should be a bin. So, I mean, that's just how I would take it as. So,
right here.
Use the cheap items you want to get rid of. Just click riches. I hope the IP claims do not start to run amok with as they have on Amazon. Yeah, the IP claims on intellectual property, if you don't know what that is, IP, that comes back to a lot of those are bogus. A lot of those, you're allowed to sell those items and you have to fight and prove that you have the rights to sell them. We got hit up the other day on one. And I don't talk about a lot of this. I have a letter, an intent letter. I've got actual invoices, the whole works from a licensed facility for this item, for this product, and they dinged me for it. Of course, it's been undinged, but it was just the point that it's all done digitally. They didn't look at it in person. This was all a script that looked for this term and that term. And for whatever reason, Amazon didn't catch that I have documents already in their facility. I uploaded them to get ungated in that item in the first place. So FYI, you got to fight with some people like that. It's a nuisance. That's the biggest issue going around personally with Amazon. I hadn't got one of those in a long time. So I was I can't say I was ticked off, but it was irking me. Because I'm like, oh, come on, I've got an invoice from these people. I've got a letter authorizing me to sell it in my area. I don't know what else I need, But anyway, that was a mistake, but still. Where are we? Hey, Lex, how are you doing?
Hello. There's Duncan.
Yeah, I don't see them getting vintage at all either, Duncan. You would be grandfathered in, I'm 100% sure, just like we would too. If you have vintage records from the 60s that are sealed, but the packaging shows wear from storage, do you sell them as new or used? They would be NOS. NOS, as long as there's no damage and the record cannot be removed out of there. But I would list that the cello is actually damaged if there's any damage to it. The best thing even if there's cellophane and it's open, as long as it has the push stickers on the cellophane, those are always good. A sticker that calls out a song on the actual cellophane, adds a huge amount of value to those records. So if you have an NOS with no stickers on it, it's not worth as much as like a #1 hit, this song's on that disc or something. Those are always good. I do NOS on those, all those sealed records. Don, how many listings did you have up on eBay before you hired your first employee?
Oh gosh.
12,000? 15,000?
Yeah.
12, 15,000 maybe? I'm not really sure. Our kids were the first ones that technically worked for us, so FYI, it was a little different than hiring somebody. We did actually go through the route of getting an accountant the minute our kids started working for us. If you pay under the table, I know you don't have to pay all the workman's comp and all that stuff. It's against the law, for one, which I didn't want to do. For two, I get to write off all that as an expense then. So, my oldest son works a lot of hours sometimes. He might work 40 hours a week, especially in his off time. This week he's upstairs working right now. This week he's got like 22 hours, I think, in Tim, my oldest. So, that's money I'd be giving away if I didn't get an accountant for my kids. So 10,000 or so, we probably had our kids starting to work. The wife started, after the first year either way, because it's us. We're throwing in our labor for free, and she can do pretty much everything too. She helps pack in the mornings when we have a lot too. So
I can put on labels.
Yeah, she does it all. So don't sell yourself short. Let's see.
Right here.
Why do you say a massive amount of money? I thought that Sellbrite was reasonable. I'm going to make, hopefully, I guess would be the point, a massive amount of money. Sellbrite, it's SELL and then Bright. It's not a lot of money. We're looking at $129 a month to sell 1,000 items a month, basically. We do more than that, so it'll be more than that. But I'm not going to do everything all at once. And there's other options, too. You can start off with the basic one for $50 a month. If you do it all, pay a year in advance, you can do it, I think it's like $36 a month for like 1,000, I think it's 100 items of sale. So it's real reasonable. It is. Some of the other ones that do it, though, we did it years back. Some of the other sites that do it are like $1,700 for the amount of items we have. Sellbrite is unique because they only do it by how many you sell. So you can pump it all with inventory left and right, especially if you're going to be putting it on sites that are free to list, like on Amazon. Amazon's free to list if you're paying the $39.99 business fee. So, FYI. Let's see here. Lex. Terminal 99. I got 2 of his eBay stores shut. Somebody got shut down there. I guess I missed part of that conversation. Let's see here. You scroll down, yeah. We still got some time here. We will answer some more questions. Hang on just a second here. I got an important message. Okay. Where are we at? Poshmark purchases make huge sense. They could roll it out worldwide and utilize the user-friendly technology. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. All those people are taking for granted that someone's not going to buy out one of these other sites. Is just they're fooling themselves. I'm not saying, downing Poshmark. It's not for me. I 100% feel it's a good platform and that I know personally people that make a living on it. So again, I'm not criticizing any of these other sites. It's small, though, in comparison to any of the other sites. It's ripe to be purchased by somebody else at this point. I'm telling you. They're not full-fledged. They could use an influx of currency. There's so many reasons why that sounds doable. I'm not crazy at all. I won't be surprised if Poshmark gets bought out or McCrary gets bought out. Poshmark would be my best guess on the first one that gets bought out by somebody. eBay or Amazon has a lot of that kind of stuff, the ability to do some of that. Amazon's got more than you know. And again, I'm going to bring back, we do business to business on Amazon. Type in B2B Amazon and see how that program works. I can sell wholesale items to a business all at once, by the pallet. They handle the shipping, and I got nothing to worry about. I just made a ton of money from one sale to one company from me all at once, and let them deal with it. Just like FBA. That's why FBA works, because I can send all my, crap to somewhere else, and I don't have any more time invested in it. You've got to think about, I can't do everything anymore. We're spreading. I was spreading myself thin in the past, so that's why we're branching out and spending money on systems now. I've hired an accountant for years. I've hired a second accountant for years. We've got 2 accountants. I could do that myself because we used to do it ourselves.
Oh, that was.
I could do payroll myself because I did payroll for, $11 million a year region in my facility where I worked. So I don't have any problems with it, but it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Where's your time? That's why I've got employees. Why do you think I get employees? Because I can't do it all. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. I've got so many other things that I could be doing. We've got toys. I just finished molding for our new toy line. We're going to have a whole line of toys coming out very soon. So, I'm going to be giving away some of those for sure. I know I want to still give away a Trilobite. I have got some legal issues if I'm going on sites and I'll have contracts. So I don't want to sell any privately or deal with that until I do something. But I will have some dealing going on with Tenacious Toys. I know we're into the feed here for a few minutes. Let me do a few more comments on what's going on for next week for those of you who missed it. My first ever guest on this channel is going to be on April 3rd, Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, next Wednesday the 3rd. I have Benny, and he is the owner, the guy from Tenacious Toys. I've got the link in there somewhere too. If you haven't looked at Tenacious Toys' site, he's got a massive site. He's got a ton of toys. I've been looking at his site to see what's hot for quite some time after I saw him on Adam Savage's The Mythbusters guy's site as well. This guy's well established. He's been doing this for a long time. He does the New York Toy Fair every single year. He's in New York. It's a big New York toy company. My toys are going to be on there fully. I've already got my Trilobite. My Killer Clown's supposed to be up there today or tomorrow. That is next Monday. You're going to get to hear the inside scoop on how they decide on the new toys coming out, what's hot. Maybe he can give us a scoop on what might be hot for this Christmas. So again, if you got a chance to look out, that is one of my questions. If you're in my Patreon group as well, I'm offering for an open question list. So I will take some questions from my patrons to ask Benny when he's here. Chris from Thrift Shop Hustler has dealt with him as well as Evilos. He's got 2 channels if you did not know that. He is Evilos as well here on YouTube. And as well on April 3rd, Wednesday night, mind you, I am going to be on Primetime Treasure Hunter's channel as well. I am doing an interview. It will be my 3rd such interview. I might be open to more. I'm still very shy and cautious on putting too many folks on my channel. And again, no disrespect to anybody else. I've got a different vibe than most channels. I do things differently. I know I'm a little odd compared to some of the other folks out here. We do our own thing. I don't care if somebody thinks I'm a nut or a freak or a nut job or anything else. I could care less. I'm laughing all the way to the bank, and I don't have to worry about the other things. I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore because of what I do. So, the perfect example of it, our kids are not wanting for anything at this point, which is my best point. My wife is here. She does what she can to help, and she gets what we want out of this as well, too.
Peach Cokes. All right.
Well, we're easy to buy for. We don't want much, honestly. We don't buy new cars. If I bought anything, it'd probably be a muscle car maybe at this point.
Or vintage Weebles for me.
Or vintage Weebles. I'll have to show you her Weeble collection. It takes up a whole wall.
Yeah.
I had to put up shelves for her many, many times to expand her collection.
I'm a serious Weeble person.
Yeah. If you want to see what Weeble addicts are, I'll show you that one of these days. Let's see here. You seem so happy about changes. I am very happy with what's going on. Everybody's dogging on eBay. My sales have gone down 30% since hitting new good till canceled. Now, again, I haven't played... Uh-oh. I haven't played around with options to increase sales. And my sales are ticking up. And that was literally... Sales are still ticking up. I even wrote down. So it depends on what you sell. You're going into summer now. You're going to have to keep checking your actual competitors right now. Check and see what else is up and what you're selling. You're going to 100% have to go back into your store. Make sure you got the best photos. Make sure you're doing zoom-ins. Make sure you're competitive pricing. Make sure you're including shipping when you need to, like on clothing, and not including it on options and things that you don't need to include it on. I touch on some of this in a Patreon video. Video number 30 went up today if you just chimed on here. For those of you who don't know Patreon, I do have a big Patreon page. I've got 30 plus videos and some comments and things in there too. I do answer pretty much every single question, either in a video form and a real long detailed message to them. I talk about a lot of stuff in there as well too. So if you didn't know, I'm also on Instagram under The Auction Professor as well, Facebook The Auction Professor, and Patreon it's The Auction Professor as well too. So to get those out there. But again, next Wednesday we've got several different things going on, so pay attention. Dinah, I would literally look at your listings again. And again, it depends on how many listings you have up. You are going into the slowest time of the year. The majority of sellers who don't sell things that are disposable income items like what I sell, collectibles, are going to see some drops in it. I'm just telling you, if you're selling clothing, new item returns, damaged goods, RA items, or things like that, you could see a long, steady decline through summer here because most people are not sitting around the house. It's not going to be winter. They're going to be out doing activities, and there'll be less people buying. Collectibles, vintage stuff like this, they're old timers that usually buy certain aspects of things that I sell, like postage stamps and stuff like Duncan was talking about just a little bit on here. So those items sell for me all year round. I don't care what anybody else tells you, they sell all year round. They just don't have enough up if they're not selling those items all year round. You know, I'm still having $800 days right this very second going on. I'm still doing the same amount of items. I'm still doing, $12,000 months per store or more. I'm still having those sales in here. It's not some lark. It's not some joke. I've went full-fledged. I've dropped the clothing and my sales have went up since I dropped clothing. I've went after the markets. I've bombed the hell out of the areas where I can get this stuff as quickly as I can get it. And now we're full and flush with inventory. Right now it's just getting the stuff up. I'm listing a ton of stuff, and I'm not going to go out and shout out how many items we're listing a day. It's into the hundreds now. So we're full steam. I don't care what's going on. We are full steam. My son's got some medical issues going on here. We've got some more appointments coming up this week, and I've got some more next month. He's got some electrocardiographs he's going to have done and the whole works. So we're just getting ready. I'm beefing up everything across the board. I am not going to be caught off guard for anything at these days. I've backed up my eBay listings. I've backed up this. I've backed up all my listings across all platforms now. We're staging ourselves to have our own big store. I've got a push. I've got some advertising ready to go. I've got a bunch of stuff going on. So we're full-fledged throwing this out there anywhere we can throw our merchandise. So, as long as it's a good, viable site, though. So I know I'm rambling again, but we'll get back to the questions here. Wubba Lubba Dubba. He went through the interview, so that's someone right there who's actually gone through it. Call, and you can get on the interview for eBay FBA as well, too. Who knows who they're going to pick? I know they're rolling them out in stages, a little group by a little group by a little group. I've read many articles on that, so. Yeah, the RCMA DIX. I'll call you RCM if you don't mind, no offense. Yeah, you're going to have to look at your items. They shouldn't have any effect, is all honesty. You're probably just getting the summer slowdowns coming into effect right now for you. Hey, Sublime 90, how are you doing? Glad to have you on here. The third-party eBay is going to use for fulfillment is called ShipBob. Look it up. They've got deals signed with UPS too, so I don't think it's going to be one specific one from what I was personally told. I've got somebody who's actually doing the program right this very second. He's in there. He's not just getting approved. He's in it doing it. So they use them depending on the city. They're working on deals with several different ones from what I understand.
It just did it on its own after
I think you were okay, or were you not? Our feeds dropped off again here. We're getting close to the end. We're going to cut it off a little right at the 8:30 marker, just within a few minutes there. I'll try to get as many questions as we can get in here. Our feed just disappeared, so hang on. We're trying to figure out where we were.
Yeah, I didn't even touch it.
Wait. I think you're... Nope. Our feed's totally off. It just popped back up, and it's all over the place. Here we are right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, see?
I'll look up ShipBob, though. I'm going to write that one down, just curiosity's sake. I've spent some time researching all this. I don't want to just be throwing out bad information. Hey, Swamp Picker, how you doing? One Detroit, welcome. Hustle and Grind Canada, how you doing?
Oh, she's okay.
Yeah, again, it has nothing to do with it. You're just going in a summer slowdown. Oh, let's see here. Stuff happens. That is exactly right. Yeah, if you list every day, you're going to see some sales. I promise you. We listed... 226 we listed 2 days ago, and out of those 226 we sold 11 different items on the day they were listed right off the bat. It's routinely, it's usually 3 to 5% of everything we list that day sells right that minute, that same day they're up. Across the board. Every day I do that, I sell 3 to 5% of what I list. So if I list 100 items, I'm selling 3 to 5 of those that same day. If I list 200 items, I'm selling 6 to 10 items. We did over 200 items. I sold 11 items. So the rate stays the same no matter what I list. Again, I know my items, so I've researched them, or I don't have to research them anymore because I've researched them so much, I've got them locked in my head. So that's the key to this. Save yourself time. If like somebody bought 400 sheet music, somebody I've been talking back in one of my groups, they need to sit there and look through all those to know what sells. After you looked up hundreds of the same item, you're going to know what's going to sell. I'm no genius. I've just done so many searches and done so much of these same type of items. I got it in my head now. Memorization works.
You're just saying that.
List on average 4 items per day consistently since November, and it's done wonders. That's exactly right. I say that to everybody. List 10, 15 items if you can every single day of the week. Everybody loves sourcing, but no one likes listing, it seems. I'm hyped on listing, especially when I picked up, and I should have brought it down, but I picked up a card today that's probably worth $500 easy. And the day before, I picked up another card. I've got a card. I don't think I brought it down, did I? No, I didn't bring it down, but I picked up a card today. I'll show it maybe my Instagram. It's a real good one here. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Leela, welcome. Leela. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Because of Karma, how are you doing? Welcome for the first show. Good to have you. Welcome from Morocco. We had a friend who was born in that area. Wasn't Monique born in Morocco?
No, her aunt was from Morocco. She was.
I know she went there many times.
South Africa.
South Africa, yeah. Echo Retro, how are you doing? You could slide down, I think.
No, well, I could.
Well, if it works. So if we stop with the questions, I can't get to everything. Hopefully I called you out, Melissa. Sorry if I didn't. I just saw you there. Smart and Suave. Gal, how you doing? Recognize listening is key. My husband is 76 and ill. There are only so many hours in a day. I try and work as hard as I can. I am 160 and we live off my sales and his Social Security. I fully feel for you. We came out of college with nothing, and we went through all of our savings to get to where we're at. Yeah. So every dime we had, and we ate ramen noodles where our kids ate good, and we've been there, trust me. We had no job and no nothing. We had to make it work or nothing, I never want to criticize somebody for doing what you can. That's one of the keys, though, is to list as much as you can. If you got a bunch of items, maybe you could see about a family member coming in and helping you list a few hours a day. That would be my next recommendation. We started with family workers first and then branched out to their friends now. So, will this be downtone for small sellers? I don't think so. Yeah, Middle East, Millie, whatever you want out of eBay, you can get it, or reselling in general. No one has to go full-time or big-time. We did it for years just as extra money on the weekends. It always, gave us vacation money and stuff like that. So, I don't see it's going to be a hit to them. You're not going to be able to do it for used clothing probably. Maybe they'll do it for vintage. I doubt it, but, I'm hoping they do. But, if they do, I'll probably be in on it. So it's not going to affect the vintage and the collectibles. And if it did, it's not going to be for a while before they get all that in place in the first place. So.
Right here, Dan.
Well, thank you, Lex. Let me get Lex out of there. Dan, thanks for the 78 info. Found some with original music shop stickers on the labels. Some of those can be removed, just FYI. I don't really mess with them unless they're covering up the song, just FYI. Duncan. Well, at least it's a snake this time, Duncan. Yeah, Australia is definitely the test. I've seen it actually written somewhere. I thought that was just talked about, but... Yeah, and I knew about the concierge. Somebody else told me that as well, too. Yeah, that's definitely correct.
I wonder how you ship a soul.
Yeah, people sell haunted items. We sold one haunted. I don't believe... This will be the last story, and then we'll probably cut it off. I don't believe in ghosts or any paranormal in personal experience. I have seen some things. I talked about this on Chris's show. I saw a unidentified flying object that was actually on Unsolved Mysteries. The wife saw the Unsolved Mysteries.
I remember that.
I was shocked. There was several of us there. It did things that nothing could do from this earth. So, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that in any way, shape, or form. Don't believe in ghosts. If there ever was a case of something haunted, it is my son's TV set.
Oh, God.
I am telling
crazy.
you, I was to the point, we're going to record this thing because it's that freaky. He turns his TV off. He's got a big screen. It's 52-inch in his bedroom, on the wall in his bedroom. It's hooked up to his computer so they can play games and stuff in there too. But I can see the light glowing from underneath his door, and he's gone. I know the TV was off when he left. So I go in there to open the door, and I walk into the TV, and I'm reaching my hand to the TV set, and as I'm reaching it, and honest to God, no lie, it shut off. I was 2 inches from the button. I am not into spiritualistic or any of that kind of stuff in any way, shape, or form at all. And that freaked me out the first time it happened. And I know other TVs and signals and stuff like that, because we had a remote that worked on someone else's TV, and we could turn it off from another room, and he didn't know we were doing it. So another time, I saw it. I saw that light on again. It wasn't on. I saw the light on from his door.
glowing.
I opened the door, and the minute I opened the door, the TV's already off. It was the weirdest thing, and it's happened 3 or 4 times.
It happened. I was putting laundry away, and nothing was on in his room. And as I'm opening his drawers to put his jeans and stuff away, his freaking TV turns on. Scared the crap out of me.
Now, here's the weird thing about that. We were so puzzled. We were thinking I'm thinking maybe it's a neighbor's remote or something, but it's the only thing that makes logical.
Yeah.
We switched TVs. Our sons both have matching TVs. They're 52-inch matching TVs. I switched them in the rooms. His room still does it with that TV.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But my other son now, who had the TV that was in the one that would turn itself on and off, it doesn't do it in my other son's room. So, something's going on. It's the weirdest thing I ever saw. I mean, and again, I don't believe in any of that stuff. No disrespect to anybody who does. It's just not for me. I like watching some of the videos and stuff, but it's just not my thing. So anyway.
Yeah, I just let him put his own clothes away. Like, just go in your own room.
You have to say it's been really weird. So it's not something I'm going to put the camera on it just so people can, as we've told many people, and
Well, the dog, I was trying to get, because our Henry sleeps with our youngest son.
Yeah, one sleeps with one kid and one sleeps with the other.
A couple of nights, he's growling. He didn't even want to go in the room. I practically had to push the dog in there, and he was growling. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not good.
It hasn't changed my thoughts on that, but it was just something weird. Off topic here. Let's see if we can get maybe 1 or 2 quick questions in here. We got to cut it off, though, in a few minutes. See if we can get one more.
Then it's the TV asking a question.
Hey, West First Books, how are you doing? Hopefully your stuff's going around there. If you want to send me your store link, I'll be happy to take a look at it for you, West First Books, if you're interested. Only 3 haters, dang, you need to try hard. Oh, thanks, Scott. I got 4 now. There's 4. Yeah, it's the same 3 people. They go and watch the videos and then leave it. One of them's somebody I've actually booted and banned from leaving anything, just because he was mad and goes around on other sites now even making marks saying I don't know what I'm talking about and stuff. But, if somebody tells me something that's totally not true, I'm going to say that's not true, and I'm not going to agree with somebody at all. So anyway.
Oh, that's nice. Kenny, you work well.
Well, thank you, Kenny. Yeah, I've seen some of yours, Scott. You got like a 10-to-1 sometimes ratio. I try for a little better than that, but you got some real good videos, so no cut on you at all. I know when you start to get haters, you've made it. That's what everybody else tells me, so I'm starting to pick them up. So, again, Scott knows just as much as I do. A thumbs down and a thumbs up counts for action on your YouTube page, so it's not hurting anybody at all. So all those folks that think they're going to hurt somebody with thumbs down, it actually interacts with your page. You can actually go, the videos that get more views have more negatives than just a few, in all honesty. So if you're not getting a bunch of negatives, you're not going to have a viral video for the most part, from what I personally have seen in the year plus we've done this. So just FYI.
Somebody else is asking about the clicking sound, our clock. Yeah, I told you that.
The time bombs shut off. We've got clocks all over the house. I've fixed them. I've got some videos on them. I like clocks. I have a clock that was given to my parents for their wedding. It's a banjo.
Oh, that's nice. It's
a Seth Thomas. It's like a $600-700 clock that
we bought me a Kit Kat clock.
Yeah, she's got a pink Kit Kat clock right now. Let's see if we can get just a couple more in here. This is the first time I've seen your wife on. You should have. Yeah, she's been on quite a few of the live shows, only the live shows. She doesn't usually do the videos because she's usually working or doing something as well. I shoot videos real early in the morning. I do several in the same day as well, too.
He keeps me locked up.
I do not stop it. We call this the dungeon, but she's not locked up at all. She gets to do what she wants to do, just like everybody else. Hey, Charles, how you doing there? Charles Keys. Enjoy all the stories as much as the information. Yeah, I'll give you some stories here and there. We'll give you some Disney stories maybe next week. I know we didn't get them in this week, but... Clicking sound again as a clock. Yeah, don't be discouraged at all, Dinah. Don't be discouraged at all. Everybody has their own level and standpoint. I don't think anybody's trying to be discouraging to you at all. There's times when I'm injured or something and I haven't been able to do a lot of stuff. So you do it at your own pace and you do it the best you can. There's
That's
no
when I
wrong or right way
poke you
to
with
do
a
this.
stick.
Don't poke me with a stick. There's no right or wrong way for any specific business. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you can list 5 items a day, it'll give you a decent boost either way. 5 items. Just 5 items every day of the week. Spend 30 minutes doing 5 items. It would be better for you to list items you have in backstock now than to keep sourcing and get more items going at least on that. That would be my personal opinion. Again, if you got some free time, I know it's hard to get free time. I completely understand. No offense in any way, shape, or form is intended because everybody has their own level of abilities. And not abilities, I should say, but availability for time. Because I've taken care of a sick wife, she's taken care of a sick husband, we've taken care of sick kids. So family life comes first every time for us. So, and that's why I do this, honestly, is because I have the ability to help my family. If I got to put eBay to the side, I put eBay to the side. I've got a different level than some stores because I have employees. So if one of us is sick or 2 of us are sick or 3 of us are sick, my business still runs because I've got 4 or 5 more people that can do that. So everybody doesn't have that basics. And I wished everybody did. I wished everybody had the knowledge. I try my best to give out honest to God, good, evident, or proven knowledge here. Again, I've done this for 20 years.
Yes, we have.
I don't talk about stuff that I don't know because I don't know it. I don't want to give you bad information.
I have to let the dogs out.
Okay.
Love you.
I'll get off you in just a few minutes and we'll be up there. How do you get ungated in DVDs on Amazon? An invoice from any distributor for 10 or more. I got ungated. This will be the last question here. Let me slide over a little bit this way. Let me make sure I'm in the middle and not like some weird spot. I started off with CDs first. We bought 1,500 Christian music CDs from the manufacturer from a local Christian radio station here that produces CDs. That got us ungated in CDs. And not just religious Christian CDs. I got ungated on all CDs instantly from that. From there, I weaseled myself into more Christian DVDs. Basically video versions of songs. And that's how I got ungated. I didn't buy as many from them, but these have to be purchase orders. Full-fledged paid actual invoices, no bill of lading, no will call notices or anything like that, no price estimates or any faux invoices. It has to be a full-fledged billed invoice. That's how you get in. That's how I got in. DVDs and CDs are easy, in all honesty, because you can buy them wholesale. You may not make a bunch of money, but once you get ungated, you can sell stuff from other places than the wholesale client. That's the key. CDs, I got ungated by buying brand new ones wholesale. Had to sink some money into it, a couple $1,000. Sold them all, made $1,000. But I also sold during that same time hundreds of CDs that were normal CDs that I bought through secondary markets as well. RA items I bought from garage sales and the whole works as well. Same aspect works for getting ungated in that. That's the key to getting ungated for anything. Invoices. You cannot send in receipts. You can't come in with an RA receipt and say, I'm going to get ungated in this. It doesn't work that way at all. That's why you need 2 different platforms. You RA most of your stuff on FBA. All the stuff you can't RA or FBA because you're gated, you ship them over to eBay. Plain and simple. That's the end of it. And if eBay offered FBA, I wouldn't even have to deal. I would do FBA for Amazon, and then my backup source would be FBA for eBay. Boom. Problem solved. I've got it all handled out right off the bat. I'm looking forward to this. So all those naysayers who say Amazon, eBay's never going to be able to do this, they're doing it already. I'm dumbfounded that all these people have dropped off of eBay because of this. I'm happy about the changes. I've already blown past the good till canceled being forced. I don't care anymore. Water under the bridge. My sales are going up now. I don't care what it's taken us to get to this point. That's what's going on with my store. We're dumping. I'm just dumping all the rest of my clothing. I may put it together in a lot and just dump it off if some, person wants to mess with it locally or something. But we're going so well in the collectibles field. We're centering more in on that, on this store. Again, I'm still doing wholesale, but I don't do much with any of that. So my time spent is usually spent in doing these items, the vintage and collectibles. Wholesale, I pick up an order, I box it, I ship it off, I'm done with it. RA items, I box up these. I got to put a box together in the morning, but I'll box them up. I'll print up, the stickers and all that kind of stuff, and send them off as soon as possible, and off they go as well too. So anyway, we're going to have to cut it quits here. We're running pretty late, more than I said I would. We're going to run out actually and get some dinner tonight. It's calling a ribeye. It's calling my name. There's a nice Mexican restaurant over here by our house, so that's where we're going unless she decides she wants to go get some sushi tonight. So we're going to be drinking some Tom Collins and kind of relaxing. Another benefit of having this kind of job, I have nowhere I technically have to be. My youngest son is on the way to Virginia tomorrow for the National JROTC drill meet. He is in the drill team, and they made it to the Nationals. So we're sending him off. He's going to be sitting there. He gets to sleep all day tomorrow. My other son doesn't go in till late, so we're going to be up tonight. We've got a bonfire going to be going in the chimenea after we get back, so we'll be up till like 1 or 2 tonight. So I'll be up again in the morning at 5. That's my typical, but hopefully everybody had a good time tonight. If you didn't hit the like button already, please hit that like button. Again, I honestly and sincerely, and I'm not just saying this to get more feedback or anything. I do honestly appreciate everybody, and I do appreciate the feedback and the comments. The support I get, the super chats from Carl, and I'm sorry I don't remember who the other one was from. I'm sorry, I don't like not remembering. Darn it. And then Audrey as well, too. So again, thank you both. My Patreon support this channel. If you watch the end of this video, please watch the credits because you can see all the names of all the folks who have actually given money to help support these. I publish everybody's name at the end of every single video that I have that supports it through Patreon as well. My Patreon folks are a blessing. They've helped me and my wife out immensely. Again, I don't make money off this at this point still. Everything has been invested back into this. So again, I'm going to call it quits here for tonight. Again, I'm happy to have everybody here. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed the show. Again, hit that like button if you haven't, and we're going to sign you off tonight.